We never feel ready to start. One more idea, one more video, one more evening of relaxing, one more lazy morning, one more song, one more drink. One more is never enough, and when will it be enough? Hi, my name is Mary, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about procrastination, which is inspired by my own life. Don't we love it? So recently I've been falling into this pit of just one more. And I've been waiting to feel better so I can start, but I will feel better once I start, but because I don't feel good enough to start, I don't start. And this vicious loop is like killing my brain. Being stuck on this spiral is just so exhausting, and it's pretty hard to get out of unless you kind of just tweak a few things into your brain, which makes it just click again and you can just do things again. And don't get me wrong, even this morning I procrastinated the living out of recording this video. So I was like, wait, I'll just have one more coffee and then I'm going to post one more thing on social media and then I'll record my video. And I also wanted to record this yesterday evening, but I was too tired. And then I tried to force myself and I just felt like shit, that doesn't work. But what does work? Now, before we get into those things, I do want to say that you have to cut yourself a little bit of slack for procrastination. Of course, it sucks when you get nothing done, and we all want to accomplish something, whether that would be like success or a home life full of love. I don't know what makes you happy. Maybe you want to be a painter, maybe you want to make music, maybe you're a construction worker, maybe you love plants, I don't know. Just find something you're passionate about, I guess. But your brain is wired for the path of least resistance, because thousands of years ago, when we were still hunting, gathering and all those stuff, and even millions of years ago is when we were basically still apes. This has just been a very slow evolution, but keep in mind the phone was invented like 150 years ago. The progress we've made from like a simple cell phone to the technology we have today, it's insane. These 2 to 3 decades, there's been such rapid growth and our brains take a while to get used to it. So don't be too harsh on yourself if certain things like social media and your phone cause procrastination or any other like discomfort, because it's basically meant to do that, at this point at least, because phones used to be like a fun way of communication and now it's just the attention war. Like genuinely, I feel like if we told the people who invented the first phone what would be happening today, they would just get sent into psychosis, because what do you mean my phone cannot just call? I can also record and I can ask an app on my phone to think for me. Crazy. And I feel like our phone is quite a big reason as to why we don't really get like a lot done, because your phone is begging for your attention all day. And while it's begging, it gathers more data about you to get even better at begging. And it just drains the life out of you, because it's very influential on your dopamine receptors and how like the reward system in your brain works. And of course we always think like, yeah, dopamine. But if you want to level up in your life, research dopamine, research how these things like work in your brain, because it's a very much like pain, pleasure balance in your brain, and it always wants to be in a balance. So if there's a lot of stimulation, we also almost like need that pain to compensate. I'm referring to something that was mentioned in the book Dopamine. I really recommend reading this, gave me some insights. But back to procrastination. So one way that I deal with procrastination, you need to, in some sort of way, make your procrastination more solid than just this fluid thing in your head. So what I've been doing every now and then is just the people who told me I couldn't do it, I wouldn't make it, I wouldn't grow, I wouldn't get out of my situation, that just believed I would always stay the same. I try to make myself think like whenever I feel bad and I feel unmotivated, it's just these people just trying to reinforce their reality onto me. So whenever I do feel motivated or I do feel things, it's almost like a good friend that's like, you're doing amazing, you're doing good. And I just love proving people wrong. I want to just look back on my life and be like, you know what? I went through this and that, and I never ever thought I would get out of these situations, but I did, and I went above and beyond what I thought I was capable of doing. Because once it's more tangible, you can do things with it. It's kind of like when you're really busy and you have all these things going in your brain, like I have to do this and I have to do that. When you make a list, it's usually just like 4 or 5 things that you have to get done, but it's hard because it's just going through your brain, you know? And I don't know, there's just some part of my brain that's like, whenever I feel so demotivated and I don't want to get anything done and I just want to lay in my bed and feel sorry for myself. To make it even more corny, in my brain I'm just like, oh my god, these are the haters and they want to see me fail. And I know it's stupid, but if it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. Keep that in mind. Find some sort of way that you can turn it around, give it an identity, and you can just be like, well, fuck you, I'm not listening to you. Maybe make it, I don't know, your least favorite vegetable. Just be like, yeah, carrots, I'm not listening to you. It's your party. Do whatever you want. Get nice and creative with it, you know? Now, there's a thing that I feel like people also tend to look over quite a bit, and this is a skill you have to learn. And it sucks to learn, but once you got it, that's great. And it's separating your effort from some sort of external value given to it. For example, with my videos, especially my vlogs. I love making my vlogs, they get like 30 views and I tend to spend like hours and hours and hours of editing. And at first it was really demotivating because I would be like, I put all this effort in and I did this and I made such a fun video and it's only gotten like 15 views. What do you mean? And through journaling and also with reading some books, I managed to kind of separate this. It's like I will only look at my effort because this is the thing that I can influence. I cannot influence if other people will see it, if they will like it, what their opinion will be. I cannot influence these things, but I can influence my effort and what I like want to create and make, you know? And it made me a lot prouder of my work because I did it. I don't know how to explain it. Because my main goal with like YouTube, for example, is entertaining people, making people laugh, educating every now and then. And I also have tried too hard to be something I'm not, or just force my channel to be like one certain set of things. Like I would be like, I can only make vlogs, or when I switch to like these long form, like talking videos, I would be like, well, but now I cannot make these other things anymore. But what if I want to do this? Why can I not just put everything I want on this channel? It's my channel and I'm just having fun. Now, as you probably know, I made like 2 or 3 long form videos and then I basically quit again for like 2 to 3 months. I'm not sure what we're on right now, but it did take me like a solid month to figure out why I got so demotivated, even though my views went up and like the whole external part was bigger, but I was lacking that internal part because I asked Gemini to help me like write outlines for my video, and very quickly, because it's a machine that wants to keep you using it, I give all my creative power to AI. I let it make like not just the outline, I would let it help me write my script, like I would use Grammarly, and I know it's very useful to a lot of people, but for me personally, it just killed my creativity. It killed my creative process and it made me distrust my own ability to write and create. Even though I love writing, I've always loved it. Like even when I was younger, I would just make stories and even like make drawings with it. And now all of a sudden, I cannot write a script. I have a diploma for audiovisual stuff. I have an education on this, and I distrusted my own script. Within like 2 or 3 videos, I became so reliant on AI to like validate me. Is this good enough? It always has something else to say. And don't get me wrong, if it's like 2 a.m. and you have a presentation tomorrow, all your friends and colleagues are asleep, no one can help you. Of course, AI can give you like a little fresh view on it because you've probably been working on it for 12 hours, even though you had 6 weeks to make this, but you just were good under pressure or something. Like then it's useful, but just be careful with it, I guess. And like I said, this realization took me like a month to get. And it's crazy how fast it can move, but I'm also very glad I got this insight. Now, it took me 30 days to realize that whatever I was experiencing with these negative feelings surrounding like demotivation and stuff, that it wasn't like burnout. It was just insecurity, a little bit on steroids. I was so insecure about my creations and like I just couldn't trust myself to make something because I was like, oh wait, what if I'm missing this or that, or what does AI have to say about this? I know it sounds stupid, but it happened. And well, that insecurity led to procrastination because I didn't know how to feel secure again. And the only way to feel secure again is to try again and again and again and again and again. And don't get me wrong, this is probably not the best video you'll ever see. This is not the best script you will ever hear in your life, but I made this. I did this by myself. Maybe I had like a little Google search to fact check whatever I'm saying. And it's just way more motivating this way because I'm just doing what I like and I'll figure out along the way if this works or if it doesn't work. Both is fine with me. Okay, so enough about AI for now. We're going to get back to procrastination and I'm going to say something, and this is a little bit mean, but this is to myself as well. You love pretending like you give a fuck. Yes, you do. You love to pretend, and I've done it too. I would be like, oh my god, I really want this, I really want this, but when I ask myself, look back on like the last week or even the last month, which are 5 steps, what are 5 steps or things you did to get closer to your goal? Did you think about your goal really, really hard? Did you really like have every way possible of like, okay, I'm going to achieve my goal like this and I'm going to do that? Like, for example, lifting weights. Are you going to look at the weights like for hours or maybe even years? You're going to look at them and be like, I'm going to lift them in this way and that way, and then I'm going to lift them like this. Nothing happens unless you actually pick it up. Then you start training, and of course a little bit of groundwork and figuring out what you should do. Of course it's good, but you also gotta have some sort of action, and that's hard, but you can do it. You're a human. Humans can do practically everything. Why couldn't you do it? And even with like the thinking really hard part, I'm very guilty of this. I would have like a great video idea. I would just like open up my note app. I would type like, okay, video idea, and maybe like 2 or 3 sentences, and then that note would just rot away in the cloud forever. And right now I probably have like 10 video ideas that are just somewhere in my phone that I'll probably never film, but that's okay too. So another thing with procrastination, I feel like some people really overestimate their levels of energy, which then leads to being overly critical of themselves, which drains your energy even more. Like even with me, yesterday I wanted to record this video, but I was genuinely out of energy. In the morning I went to the gym, then I had to rush to the store to get a few things, and then I had to rush to Amsterdam to visit a museum with a friend. And when I got back, I was just pretty drained, and I tried forcing myself to film and I couldn't do it, and I actually fell asleep so quickly at like 9 p.m. So like check with your energy too. Here are some ways to get more energy. And I'm going to state the obvious things first. Have a good sleep. Most important, eat healthy foods. You don't have to eat healthy all of the time, but make sure you get a little bit of protein and some fiber and some vitamins. Like you don't have to do this like very strict, cool diet. If you just eat a few vegetables and then you have a few cookies, everything is okay, but make sure you do feed yourself some things that actually improve you. So despite those two, also make sure you exercise regularly, whether that would be like going on a few walks, maybe doing just a few push-ups in your home. Just make sure you get like some sort of connection with your body and your energy. It releases chemicals and it's good for you. And something that also a lot of people overlook, don't overdose on caffeine. Please, like, for me personally, it's pretty anxiety inducing. You get like pretty big caffeine crashes. Just be careful with it. You can get dependent on it really easily, which I am, but I don't mind because I do love the taste of coffee. So yeah, but you aren't stupid. You already know those things. So here are a few more things that are also less vague that you can also implement into your life. Get a little bit more energy, or at least have more space mentally because you've already dealt with these things. And this is especially helpful if you're not a morning person. Pick your outfits the day before. Make your breakfast or lunch the day before, or take a day to meal prep. And you don't have to meal prep for a whole week. Maybe just like make a few backup meals. This is what I do every now and then. I just make a very big portion of lasagna. I cut it into a few pieces. I put it in my freezer, so whenever I get home and I feel unable to cook because I'm just so exhausted from the day, I can just shove this fresh made thing into the oven and it's still very tasty. Like, just help yourself out in a few ways, like help your future self. What also can help is having some sort of set routine, like making sure like on Monday I always take out my trash, on Tuesday I always buy new eggs, and a very important one too, limiting your social media exposure in the morning. Because when you just wake up, your brain is in a very malleable state and it's almost kind of like a hypnosis-like state. Your brain is very open to receiving messages. So when the first thing you do is scroll and subconsciously compare yourself and you see these like successful people, beautiful people, just people living their lives, and maybe you aren't in the place where you want to be, this can also be really demotivating because you just started your day and your phone proved to you like you fucking suck and you didn't accomplish anything. Like, how the fuck is that supposed to make you feel better? Now, it also just really messes with your dopamine and your reward system. So boring things just suck because you're just so used to, like, in your brain to just get this reward for doing nothing, that when you actually do something but it's not instantly rewarding, like washing the dishes. Okay, sometimes I do like washing the dishes, but it's usually just like, I don't feel like it, I don't want to do it, I'd rather scroll on my phone, or I'd rather do this, that. So when you train your brain to like boring shit again, it is way easier to do something because you're like, how do you explain this? Like, usually your pleasure center is like activated to about here from all the social media stuff, and like washing dishes is right here. If you cut this down, then this will feel easier. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea how to explain it, and I have no idea if this is how it genuinely works. It's just how I picture that it works. So feel free to fact check this and call me out if I'm wrong. Now, it's also a lot easier to wind down and relax when you know you've accomplished something. Otherwise, you're just going to lay down and maybe watch a movie or read a book, and in the back of your mind just going to be like, I still have to get this done, I still have to work on this, I still want to do that. Like, once you've done a few things, you can just let go way easier and you can actually enjoy your downtime, and it will be actually rest for you rather than this laying down state where you're still really active and still really stressed. Like, that won't help you. And now, I personally do struggle with pretty two extreme things. Like, it's very black and white in my brain. I'm either overly extremely obsessed about my goal, or I cannot get out of bed. And again, I am mentally ill and we're working on this. So what else can help? Make a plan, and not just in the classical sense of, okay, this is my plan, I'm going to take these 3 steps and then I'll achieve my goal. No, we're going to dive a lot deeper, because for me personally, I find it quite hard to just make a plan and do it. So if you're like traumatized, neurodivergent, or have any other mental thing going on which makes it a little bit harder to just think about it and do it, my way of making a plan is figure out for yourself, honestly, just why. Why do you want to do this? What is your motivation? What keeps you going? What would you like to get out of this? And I feel like it gives you a lot more clarity and direction of what you want to create and how you can create this. And maybe you're also someone who just needs some sort of external factor, because when I make a plan and it's completely reliant on me, I find it pretty hard to get done. But when I ask someone like, hey, in a week, could you please check on me if I've done this, I will feel a little bit more urgency to get it done. And maybe this can help for you too. So if you want to try this, hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM, and maybe we can motivate each other, or leave a comment down below. And this feels like such engagement bait, like, oh my god, comment down below like your goal and what do you want to achieve. But you never know if you find someone with like a similar passion and you guys can help each other out. You never know if you never try. Don't procrastinate, just comment. This feels cringe. So I feel like in this modern age, a lot of people, their motivation is just like making money. Why do you want to do this? Because I want to make money. Yeah, but why do you want to make money with this? And if all you want to do is like get rich quick, you're just signing yourself up to feel like shit. I'm not trying to like sound mean to the people who have experienced this, because I feel like I just sound jealous. But for a lot of people, if they like blow up overnight, first of all, your success usually doesn't stay. You're like a hype for a month and then you fade away. Like, it's so much more valuable to just keep building, keep building, keep building, and in that way just grow and not have money as like your main motivator. Because what if the money never comes or it fades away quickly? Like, a lot of people who have never had access to money, once they get it, they just ruin it because they're just so excited to spend this, you know? So to kind of make this whole make the plan thing a little bit more concise, here are just the things you can journal about, or write in your notepad, but it's the best to just do it with pen and paper because you have to actually think. Because if you're just letting your thoughts go everywhere, it's not going to be so helpful. Like, write it down, please. So, right now, why are you doing this? For who am I doing this? Are you trying to impress yourself or someone else? And it's not wrong to want to impress someone else, because again, I've had people who told me I couldn't do it, and I love proving people wrong. In what time frame do I want to achieve this goal? Because you can be like, oh, someday I want to achieve this. Yeah, if it's just someday, make sure you're doing something useful rather than just thinking about it. I feel like I'm repeating myself too much. And what parts of me are not fulfilled by this goal? And I feel like this is a very important thing, because we can look at, this is fulfilling me and this makes me happy, but what parts of you remain just like bored or unfulfilled? And for me, with creating videos, for example, I love the talking part, I love scripting. However, I also really enjoy going outside, going for walks, working out. So those parts are not getting fulfilled when I'm just like, for example, sitting here, or when I'm sitting and I'm writing, or when I'm sitting and I'm editing. Those parts are not fulfilled, and I have to make sure I do fulfill those parts, otherwise I'm still going to feel unmotivated and not great, because yes, I'm doing something I love, but I'm also neglecting another part of myself. And I have tried to go outside and just like write a script when I'm walking, but I feel both disconnected from my walk and disconnected from my script, so that doesn't really work for me, and we're still kind of figuring this out. And I've also noticed that during the winter it's really easy for me to just like go and make these videos because it's dark most of the time, so I just sit here with my laptop and I don't really feel motivated to go out because it's just like cold, and I'm really made for summer. So yeah, during the summer it's easier to just like go outside and film, but then it's like hard to do the hard parts, which I feel like is writing, editing, and those things. And I'm talking about vlogs and these long form formats, like interconnected or intertwined, whatever the word may be. Yeah, that's also fine. I'm still figuring this out. If I had it figured out, I would probably be a little bit more of a successful channel, and I'm not, and I'm fine with that because I'm still enjoying this. So when I wrote this script, I just started yapping to myself. So I'm just going to read this right off my script because I kind of improvise usually. So today, while the temperature was amazing and the sun was out, I decided to still write the script and give myself a chance to feel better, to work on something I love. Even it was just writing words and never recording it. I feel better because I did something. I wanted to speak about what I'm struggling with while also motivating others to keep trying, even if your brain tells you it's too late. The only time it's truly too late is when you're dead. Until then, keep trying. Don't give it the power over you. You are a human being. The things you can do are unthinkable. Again, you probably don't give a fuck about the example goal I'm about to give, but imagine you started running today and you took it incredibly seriously. I bet within a year you'll be able to run a marathon. Now it doesn't matter if that's what you want, but still, don't underestimate the human body and mind. You are fucking powerful. I get that this is more of a motivational video rather than a lot of practical tips, but for procrastination, there isn't a magic fix. It is slowly building a rhythm with something that fulfills you. Try to do it 5 minutes a day for a month and see how it feels. Motivation comes after you start it most of the time anyways, so those 5 minutes can quickly turn into an hour. Now for habit building, it is harder to start a completely new habit rather than to habit stack. Promise yourself that every time on the train back from work, you start reading the books you've been talking about for 2 years. You are going to be on the train anyways, so you might as well spend your time a little bit different. Or when you get home, instead of instantly relaxing, you vacuum clean or do the dishes. Now when you lie down and rest from work, it feels even better because your brain won't torture you with you need to do XYZ because you've done it already. So now conclusion of this video, do something you love, find out why you love it and why you want to keep going. Find people that can motivate you. It doesn't have to be in your close circle, it could be people online, and do it for a little bit every single day and see how it makes you feel. And don't think, just do, because from thinking usually nothing gets done. You can be a great philosopher, but at the end of the day you still didn't do anything. The dishes won't wash themselves because you thought about how you were going to do it. The light is pretty bad, but I have a few more things to say before we end this video. Most of the people who we deem as successful are actually not grinding out of pure self-hatred, I mean, they could be, but most of the time, them being a hard worker is just a part of their personality. They identify with being in the lifestyle of being on that grind. Now, how can you train yourself to be more like this? And it's actually one thing that's, again, you have to kind of train and teach yourself this. It won't just happen overnight. But practice removing the decision. Someone who is in the mindset of I am this does not think about, oh, am I going to do this? No, they do it. Because we see this a lot with people with New Year's resolutions. They go in with their New Year's resolution like, I am going to go to the gym, I'm going to become healthy, but they are not in the mindset of someone who is going to the gym. So for them, going to the gym is still optional. It's still something they have to think about. It's not something that's just starting to be ingrained into them. So for example, when it rains, they could easily be like, well, but I don't want to go through the rain, I'll postpone this workout. While someone who identifies with being someone who goes to the gym probably still really doesn't want to go through that rain, but they will go because missing that workout has more pain than the rain. That rhymes. Or maybe you want to try and be healthier and you're like, well, I know I shouldn't eat this whole pack of Oreos because I want to be healthier, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's going to affect your ego, and whenever you do something that doesn't align with who you are, you'll experience cognitive dissonance. And I will make a separate video on cognitive dissonance and why understanding this and recognizing certain patterns within yourself is incredibly helpful to level up. But let me just briefly explain what this is. I'm going to read this definition so I don't mess it up. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort you feel when your actions do not match your beliefs, or when you hold two contradictory ideas at the same time. This mismatch creates stress or guilt, which people try to fix by changing their habits or making excuses for their behavior. So that we're on the same page with cognitive dissonance, it is the feeling that you experience when you want to do one thing but you kind of do the other. You want to be healthier, but you eat a whole pack of Oreos. It just doesn't align. It creates a certain stress and guilt within yourself, and you're either justified with like, oh, but I'm not going to be unhealthy tomorrow, so today I can. Or for example, with smoking. I know smoking is bad for my health, but it calms me down, so therefore I'm kind of like allowed to. So I'm not sure if what I'm about to say relieves cognitive dissonance, but it can at least help you make your thing more solid into your identity. And it is removing the choice, it's removing the decision. So for example, when you get home, don't argue with yourself, am I going to clean up the mess I made in the morning? You're just going to be like, I am someone who cleans up their mess from the morning when I get home from work. So by removing the decision, it is a lot easier to just do it. And maybe you feel like, well, but I cannot do this, I don't have the energy, I don't do this. Then you have to challenge your belief system, because why are you like convinced that you cannot change something about yourself? Like, what is it in you that makes you believe that you cannot change? And these can lead to pretty tough conversations with yourself, but it's so important to figure these things out. I have no idea how to make like a conclusion to this video, so I just want to thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you in some sort of way. Let me know what your goals are. Please find someone to discuss your things with, and be kind to yourself. Make sure you have the right amount of energy and energy doesn't go to the wrong things. And yeah, that's it. I love you. Bye bye.